Tucker Carlson is left blown away after Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says this key thing about Donald Trump. Guys, it's going to be a fun video and you're going to like it. As I'm sure many of you know, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. very recently endorsed former President Donald Trump for the 2024 presidential election. And what's more, Donald Trump has said that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be put in charge in some type of committee where he investigates presidential assassinations. How interesting is that? As I'm sure you guys know, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s uncle, John F. Kennedy, was infamously killed by an assassin. Very tragic and sad. And Donald Trump almost faced the same tragic and horrific fate. So that'll make for a very interesting pairing, I am sure. With that being said, guys, it's going to be a fun video. We're going to get right into it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But first, everybody, yes, you can help me out here. Do me a favor, like our video, share it around, and if you're new, subscribe to the Resist the Mainstream YouTube channel so we can keep delivering you these great videos. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much and welcome back. As always, everybody, I'm your host, Arian. Let's get into the video.
That, I had these meetings with President Trump, and they were partly because of you. You were the one who, Callie Means called me about, I'd say 3 hours after President Trump was shot. Callie Means called, although it doesn't seem possible because, but I think it was only 3 hours after his shooting. And
it was Saturday night.
Yeah, Saturday night. And Callie Means said to me, he told me, Callie had been advising me for a long time and my campaign. He told me that night, I've also been, I've been advising President Trump, which delighted me because I thought, oh my gosh, there's another candidate beside me that is listening to the truth. And he said that that there was interest in the Trump campaign by the president of including me. Then he talked about vice president, which I wasn't interested in. But he said, would you be interested in talking with with President Trump? And I said, I don't think so. And part of this was I just thought it was a non-starter with Cheryl. And I called Cheryl up and she said to me, you should hear them out. And I immediately called Callie. I texted Callie back and said, I'm interested. And then I got a text from you. And you and I have each other's cell phones. And you had an unknown cell phone number which you had linked me into, which was President Trump's number.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr., cool Democrat. Joseph Robinette Biden, not a so cool Democrat, especially with this very uncool level of inflation he's given us. Guys, it's out of control, okay? I don't know about you, but I shed a tear, maybe two of them, every time I go to the gas pump. It's outrageous. And that is why, guys, I have decided to partner with Goldco. Why do this, guys? Very, very simple. As the value of the dollar has gone down throughout US history, the value of gold has gone up. Pretty cool, huh? Sounds like it might be a good pledge against inflation. And that's why I'm partnering with Goldco, and I recommend you do it too. So guys, check it out. Go to rtmgold.com. You can type in your web browser or click the link in your description. Goldco is a great company. They'll give you the white glove treatment, all right? You can even get a free gold kit that you can use to help you make this big decision because we know it's a huge one. What's more, you can roll over your IRA and 401k penalty and tax free. Yes, you heard that right. So what are you guys waiting for? Head on over to rtmgoldco.com today.
And you said, he's waiting for your call. And so I called him that night. I had a great conversation with him. And then he asked, we decided to talk. And I met him the next day. He was at that point at Bedminster, which is his golf course and home in New Jersey. And he'd driven there from Butler, where he had been shot. And then I went to, and so I flew out to Minneapolis the next day. And I had probably a 2-hour meeting with him and Amaryllis, who's my daughter-in-law, who is running my campaign, the smartest person I've ever met, and Cheryl and Susie Wiles. And it was a really interesting meeting because he was so open about first of all, not liking the neocons.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And, I never imagined that because for me, he was the guy who brought John Bolton and Mike Pompeo into office. And, but he was really disillusioned with them, to say the least, And then, he was deeply interested and well-informed, as he is on any, as much as he is on any subject, about what's happening to our kids, chronic disease. And then he was absolutely adamant about stopping the censorship. And
it actually doesn't surprise me at all that Donald Trump was passionate against A, the neocons, and B, the childhood chronic issues. As far as the neocon part goes, in 2016, a big highlight of Trump's campaign was that we're going to stop these endless wars, take our troops out of the Middle East, enough is enough, America first. And that was a great message, and it resonated with many people, and for good reason. As far as the childhood chronic issue goes, that makes sense. Some important context here that I think everyone ought to know is that Donald Trump actually tapped Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to work in his administration back in 2016. In fact, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was slated to be a vaccine czar of sorts. Now, I'm not going to go into details of what the rules of that are because YouTube might try to TOS us or something like that, but you can probably guess what kind of stuff that would entail. So it's not all that surprising to me that these two ended up talking and working together now. And hey, as far as I can tell, it's a really cool thing. Curious, what do you guys think about that? Let us know below. What do you think of RFK? What do you think of him working with Trump? Do you like him? Do you like what he might do? Et cetera, et cetera. I'm really curious to hear about that.
And making sure that we had free speech. And so we talked a little then and didn't really come to any, talked about the possibility of working together. After that, but then we put it on hold. They wanted me to do something at the convention. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. And we still, at that point, there was still a chance that I could get into the debate. That chance was diminishing. And because I was not allowed on any media, and because my only chance of winning the election, I believe I would have won if I had gotten on the debate stage. But my only chance was to get on the debate stage. And that possibility was vanishing. And so I was looking at kind of my options. I then contacted Harris's campaign because I thought I should talk to them and see if they're interested in any of these issues, which I suspected they were not because Kamala was still an empty slate. Kamala, excuse me, was an empty slate. So,
she's pronounced it both ways herself, so it's okay.
I want to respect people and give them,
yes.
So I reached out to her, and I reached out through a number of people, including some relatives of mine who are very, very close to her personally and to the Democratic Party, and they just said, that's a non-starter. There's no way in the world that she's going to talk to you. And they said, we can get you a meeting with a low-level campaign official. And I said, okay, I'm not interested in that.
Can you imagine the extreme level of disrespect that it takes for them to say something like that to RFK Jr.? And perhaps even more disgustingly worse, the cowardice. Just incredible. And it really is telling. And surprise, surprise, Kamala Harris, or Kamala Harris, as some like to say, including me, admittedly, can't even do an interview with members of the friendly media. It's truly pathetic. So while it is disgusting and cowardly, I can't say I'm surprised at all that she's not willing to talk with them.
Why wouldn't, it's interesting, why wouldn't Kamala Harris meet with you?
Maybe the same reason that she hasn't given an interview. I think it seems to me that there's a lot of handlers involved. And even when you talk to Democrats about, do you really think it's a good idea to be electing somebody who cannot give an interview? They say, well, you're not electing her, you're electing the people around her. You're electing the apparatus. And the apparatus, but the apparatus is an apparatus I don't have any faith in. It's an apparatus run that are neocons like Anthony Blinken and who are, running us right up into a World War III.
There are two very incredible admissions with what those Democrats are saying to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. right now. A, Kamala Harris is a stupid person who can't handle interviews. I mean, they're basically admitting that because they're saying, well, it's not a big deal. You're not really electing her. You're electing other people around her. And B, they're admitting that we're controlled by a deep state, or put in perhaps a less conspiratorial sounding way, even though it is a factual thing that exists, the administrative state. That's basically what the deep state is. A big, giant group of unelected bureaucrats who think they know better than the American people and want to direct things the way they want it, rather than allowing for self-governance, which was one of the biggest points of America in the first place. Truly a disgusting bunch, if you ask me.
And there are people who, who masterminded the censorship from inside the White House. That's the apparatus that they want to reelect. And to me, that's an apparatus that has no appeal. These are the people who are censoring me. These are the people who tried to throw me out of the party, who canceled the primaries. That's the apparatus. If it was a Democrat who said, I can think on my own, I understand what this country's supposed to look like, I understand what democracy is supposed to look like, then I think that's great. Let's do that.
But it's strange from her perspective. First of all, electing an apparatus is not how democracy works. That's an oligarchy, just in point of fact. But as a political calculation, your presence in the race running third party hurt Trump. No one disputes that. The polling's really clear on that. So if you're the Harris campaign, kind of a win, right, to get some alignment with you, why, or even human curiosity, you'd think would compel her to want to meet with you. Like, take a meeting. Like, why do you care? But she wouldn't even talk to you. I think it's very weird.
It's weird, but I can't stress this, not being able to give an interview. I mean, your whole life is in public life. That's what you do. That is the currency.
Right.
Yeah. At the end of the day, Kamala Harris is just a profoundly stupid person. I know that's not a very nice thing to say, but I don't even mean it as an insult. I'm just trying to analyze it for what it is. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. As always, guys, comment below. Let us know what you liked, what kind of content you want to see in the future. Thanks so much, and God bless.